Hey everyone, Jason Weckerle here. Today in this video, I'm going to teach you guys what I like to use during the fall period for walleye fishing. I mainly fish from shore and I fish in a lot of shallower water, about 12 feet all the way down to a foot of water. And these baits will work from shore, they'll work from a boat. As long as you're not fishing any deeper than maybe 15 feet at the most, you'll catch some walleyes on all these baits. And I'm going to go over the gear, the line, every single lure, jig, everything you guys need to know to catch more walleyes. I'm going to tell you guys what I use to cast jerkbaits and crankbaits. I like to use a 7-foot medium action rod with a 3,000 size reel, 2,500 size to 3,000 size, 10 to 20 pound Power Pro braid. This is 10 pound right here. I tend to go with 10 pound for almost all my fishing. This is a Piscifun. I don't know how to say that, Piscifun. Carbonets 2 3000 reel. Probably the lightest weight reel I've ever used in my life. I got two 1,000 sizes for my panfish rods. I bought two 3,000 sizes for my jerkbait crankbait fishing. But I absolutely love this reel. 3,000 size Carbonets 2 made by Piscifun. And 7-foot medium action rod, 10 pound braid. I like to go with a 10 to 15 pound test fluorocarbon or monofilament leader at night. It doesn't really matter. During the daytime in clear water, I go with fluorocarbon. At nighttime, I go with monofilament just because I don't want to waste my fluorocarbon line. It's a little bit more expensive than monofilament, and it's not necessary to use. You don't even have to use a leader at night, even with braid. But I like to use it just for some abrasion resistance, a little bit of shock absorption when you set the hook and you're fighting the fish. But if you're dealing with a lot of pike and muskies biting your lures off, getting away on you, no one wants to lose an expensive lure or anything, or a fish. I go with a titanium, not too kinky leader. Not too kinky. This is an 18 pound titanium leader. It's a tieable leader. You can see diagrams on how to tie the leader in different ways. You could technically use crimps if you want to, a crimping tool and some crimps on them. But this titanium, I use a little tiny snap swivel. That's a cross-lock snap. I like to use the smallest snap swivels that I can get away with, and the smallest ball bearing swivels. This is a tiny little ball bearing swivel. I'm trying to show you guys. It's about a 10-inch leader, 18 pound titanium. I don't like using 7-strand steel leaders. They bend, they're thick. This titanium allows the lure to swim a lot more freely since it's so thin. They don't kink and bend like steel leaders do. I mean, over time, if you catch a bunch of fish on one leader, it'll sooner or later bend. But this titanium will save your butt if you're dealing with muskies and pike biting onto your lures, because you will run into a lot of pike day and night. A lot of muskies casting for walleyes. I wouldn't suggest going with anything over 15 pound test, because it'll make these lures not wiggle right, not swim right. Or if you're twitching them and you want the lure to pause using a suspending jerkbait, twitch, pause, you want the bait to sit still. Sometimes that thicker leader will cause the bait to start sinking instead of hovering and suspending. Or if you're using too thick, like fluorocarbon leaders, sink. Fluorocarbon is a material, sinks in the water. Monofilament floats in the water. And if you're using too thick of a monofilament leader, you might even get the bait to start rising up too quickly also. All right, now I'm gonna go over some of my favorite lures, hard baits, jerkbaits, crankbaits for walleye fishing. To start, the old school bread and butter Rapala Original. This is a floating bait. If you stop reeling, it floats to the top. If you start reeling, it goes down about 2 to 3 feet at the very most. I'd say about 1.5 to 2 feet. But this is an excellent lure in size, well, in all the sizes, honestly. I've even caught walleyes on the smallest size, the size 3. But size 9, size 11, F9, F11 they call it. This is an F11 5-inch. The F9 is a 4-inch bait. Those are my two bread and butter presentations when I'm sitting there dealing with water 1 to 5 feet deep, especially out on shallow rivers or on clear lakes. The Rapala Original, black and white. You'll notice a lot of my baits are black and white, black and silver, or perch pattern, like that. And that's because walleyes tend to eat a lot of shiners, a lot of minnows, Cisco, or tullibees, Cisco's, same thing. They eat little white fish. They eat things that are flashy, silver in the water. And they like to eat perch a lot. There's a good, that's a Rapala Shadow Wrap, another one of my favorite baits in the perch pattern. And every one of these baits has a different purpose. The original Rapala that I just showed you before floats to the surface when you stop reeling it. You can even use that bait as a topwater lure for bass and pike. You can twitch them on the surface, even topwater style for walleyes sometimes, and they'll smack them right off the surface. But I like to reel that bait slowly and steady, or I like to just give it a pop, 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 pop. Get that bait look like it's flashing around and dying, make it look wounded. That's an excellent bait. But another thing I like to do is throw suspending jerkbaits. The first suspending jerkbait ever made was the Rapala Husky Jerk. This is a 4-inch, size 9, black and silver. This bait right here, if I had to put my money on any suspending bait, it's affordable. You're not gonna be paying like $25 a piece like you do for mega bass jerkbaits or whatever. Sits to $8. You can't go wrong with a Husky Jerk. And what a suspending jerkbait is, it's a bait that doesn't float, it doesn't sink. It just hovers right in place when you pause it, when you stop the bait. If you twitch it, it'll just sit there motionless, or it might rise up a little bit, but that is what a suspending bait is. And you want to pause for anywhere between 3 to 10 seconds usually. Some nights I have found pausing a lot longer will get you bites, but you twitch that bait, keep your line tight enough to where you can feel bites. And if you feel a little tap, you feel a hard whack at the lure, set that hook. I mean, sometimes they'll just barely nip the back treble hook, and sometimes they'll completely swallow it and clobber it. But the Rapala Husky Jerk, the Rapala Shadow Wrap, the Rapala X Wrap, those, and the original, like I said, I tend to use those lures the most when it comes to fall walleye fishing, especially at night when it comes to lake fishing. I have one rod rigged up with a jig and soft plastic. I have the other rod rigged up with some sort of suspending jerkbait or floating jerkbait. And black and silver, black and gold, perch pattern. You don't really have to go with anything else. I also like a color called Helsinki Shad. It's like a bluish gray back, white sides with a little chartreuse green strip down the side. You can buy that, the Husky Jerks in that color. A lot of, I think even the original's made in that color now. But what you want to do with a suspending jerkbait, you throw it out there, reel it down like 4 or 5 cranks, stop it, and then just give it 1 or 2 twitches while keeping up with the reel. Here, I'll show you. Throw it out, give it just 1 twitch or 2, pause it. You want to keep up with the slack in your line so you're feeling that bait and you can feel the bites, but just 1 or 2 little twitches, pause for like a 3 to 7 to 10 second count, like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Twitch it again, pause it, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. Twitch it again, and pay attention to how many seconds it takes for you to get a bite, because some nights it sounds funny, but these walleyes will get downright picky. And if you're not counting 4 seconds, no joke, they might not grab it. And it's weird how every fish in the whole entire area seems to be on the same count with that pause. Usually I give it about 7 seconds. That's 7's a lucky number for me. So I do the 7 count starting out, and it usually works, but 3 to 7 seconds, 10 seconds, if the water's really cold and the fish are super turned off and hard to catch, pause it up to 30 seconds. I mean, if you're not getting bit after 30 seconds or less, the fish are pretty damn inactive. So again, the Rapala Ats Wrap, the Rapala Shadow Wrap, the original floating Rapala, and the Rapala Husky Jerk. You can't go wrong. My favorite baits to throw during fall for big walleyes, for pike. Occasionally you get a muskie on them. I've caught a lot of bass on them, but this is a walleye video, so we won't veer off of the topic. Last but not least, if you're dealing with fish that are a little bit deeper, you can go with a deep diving model jerkbait that just has a little bit bigger lip. These are Strike King KVD jerkbaits. Those are good too. Lucky Craft makes good jerkbaits. Mega Bass, Rapala, Strike King. I tend to be a huge fan of Rapala, always have been. Legendary lure company. But you can go with a deep diving model jerkbait. This has a longer lip on it. Here's a, sorry about this. Here's a Shadow Wrap with a little bit longer lip. These baits will get you down to about anywhere between 6 to 10 feet of water if the fish don't seem to be coming up for anything, or if you're fishing deeper water. I also like to throw Rapala Shad Wraps in the fall, even in the springtime. Like I said, all these baits will work spring, summer, fall, but we're talking fall right now, and if I'm fishing deeper water or I gotta get down to the fish, a Shad Wrap, a minnow wrap, which is a cross between the Shad Wrap and the original. It's just kind of like a longer minnow shaped shad wrap basically. This looks like a shiner or a shad. This looks like a minnow or an alewife, a longer bait fish, a Cisco. But I very rarely have to go to crankbaits that dive deeper. Usually I'm fishing in anywhere between 1 to 10 feet of water, mainly in 1 to 5 feet of water from shore. And even if I was out in a boat fishing, I would be pushing my boat up in those shallows at night, casting over the rock bars, the shallow weed flats, anywhere you find current under bridges or by dams. Walleyes are easy to find, especially in clear lakes. If you just take a spotlight and you do some scouting around the shallows at night, you can see their eyeballs glowing. But this is all the stuff that I use to catch walleyes in the fall, in the spring. And I hope this information helps you guys. I'm sure it will if you watched the whole video. It was a long video, but there was a lot to cover here. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, learned a thing or two. I promise you, if you guys follow this advice, go out on the walleye rivers in the fall, you go out on the walleye lakes, you'll catch walleyes. Believe me, trust me. It's what I've been doing. It's what a lot of us fishermen been doing for decades. So pick yourself up some Rapalas, some jig heads, some soft plastics. Get out there and catch some walleyes. If you guys like this video, subscribe to my page. Hit that like button. Turn on the notification bell. It's free to subscribe. It helps my page grow. It gives me a reason to keep bringing content, to keep making content and bringing it to you viewers. I appreciate every one of you who has hit that subscribe button already. Even if you don't, I hope you enjoyed the video. But hit the subscribe button and you'll get my latest content. Take care. Good luck walleye fishing.